Hello nature, don't you know I'm busy admiring the starry sky? What are you bothering me about?
Can't you, big spider? I have come to denounce your hypocrisy.
What?
Your whole ethical system is just a chimerical crackpot concoction you used to validate Christian morality. Categorical imperative, my ass.
My ethical system is based on pure reason. We act according to laws we give ourselves as rational agents. You should only act such that you can will the maxim of your action to become an universal law.
Everyone is different from everyone else. If you think morality is based on an imperative we give ourselves, we would all have markedly different ones.
I am just being rational. For example, it makes no sense to make a deceitful promise because if everyone made deceitful promises they wouldn't even count as promises. Making promises presupposes trust and honesty between people.
That answer amuses me. You are just hiding yourself behind an empty formalism and asserting your own will to power. Promises exist so that we can increase a feeling of power and punish those who do not complete.
Fool. How can you act in a manner that will lead to contradiction if we universalize it?
Why should the great men act just like everyone else? That's a morality of servitude and fake equality. A great man is a law unto himself. Who cares what the herd does? You should become who you are.
You are just being selfish. A moral action, if it is to have value, should be performed because it's the right thing to do.
Doing something just because it's the right thing to do is fetishizing morality. Just consider who would want a friend that comes to visit when you are sick just because it is his duty and not because he cares. Your morality is an enemy of life. Unhealthy, antithetical to all living beings.
The value of a moral action derives from respect for morality, but there may be other motives involved. They are just morally irrelevant.
Decadent. The higher men will never be automatons of duty. They should not be.
A good will is the only unconditional good thing in the world.
There's no unselfishness in the world. We all have self-interested motives.
Maybe that's the case. We're all just selfish and there never has been a right action in the world. This is not an excuse to call the self-interested action right. That's just self-serving.
We can't act any other way. Each of us is looking for a feeling of power, dominion over others, control over ourselves. We are just a hierarchy of impulses and effects. Only a German would forget his own animal nature.
You xenophobic prick, that would make us slaves of our passions. We have the capacity to act freely and autonomously. If we wanted, we could do the right thing, regardless of ourselves.
Free will is an illusion. When you experience acting freely, you are just doing it so you have the pleasure of thinking your actions are your own and aggrandize yourself. Our actions are determined by our biology and unconscious motives.
That may be so in the phenomenal realm, the spatio-temporal reality where your body exists, but space and time are just your way of sensing the world. In the real nominal world, you have the capacity to act freely.
Now you are just making stuff up. This is the only reality that exists. Everything else is a fake idol you have created.
How else do you explain our capacity to perceive the world? Do you really think our minds are just passive recipients of the world?
No, on the contrary. I acknowledge that we always impose our interpretation on the world. But that's the point. There are no pure inaccessible facts, only interpretations.
How do you explain our capacity to make mathematical judgments a priori, and even physical laws like the conservation of energy? It's because we construct space and time according to our subjective limitations.
Those limitations are real, but they are a consequence of evolution. What we should ask is not why are mathematical truths necessary, but why did evolution make those truths psychologically necessary?
Don't you see we must have a nominal nature? Freedom is a postulate of practical reason, just like God and immortality. If there are right and wrong actions, there must be freedom of choice.
God and immortality? LOL, God is dead. I knew you were just trying to prove Christianity. There is no right and wrong. The Superman I envisage is above the illusion of morality, beyond good and evil. The life assertion of the sovereign individual who has mastered his impulses is what matters. My Superman is the goal of our culture. Everyone else should just support the higher individuals.
That's completely groundless, you misanthrope. Every rational conscious being is an end in itself and should never be used merely as a means. We all have a value beyond value. Everyone matters as much as everyone else, and you can't sacrifice some to benefit others.
Equality from quality. Can't, should, or don't you have any other vocabulary? You are like a dragon saying you shall, but I am a lion saying I want, and my Superman will be playful and free like a child.
You are a slave to your desires then. If reason does not determine your behavior, you are dominated by your most basic instincts.
On the contrary, it is because my will to power dominates all of my other impulses that I am free. I could as well say you are a slave to reason.
It is in your nature to be rational. The laws of rationality are the laws you give yourself. Our nominal nature, not in space and time, has the capacity to determine itself according to its laws. This is freedom.
Your speaking Chinese wasn't your nominal self that was perfectly free and rational. How can you say your empirical self, Immanuel Kant, is free?
Those are problems and aporias the human mind can never understand.
You must be frickin' kidding me.